Courtrooms can be filled with shocking, intense, and unforgettable moments. From jaw-dropping confessions to explosive outbursts, these wildest courtroom moments are etched into history, impacting everyone who witnessed these events. Buckle up for a gripping ride through some of the most wild trials ever. Case number 1. At the Veterans Memorial Courthouse in Lansing, Michigan, 35-year-old Joshua Harding stands trial for 2 counts of. Harding stands on the right, while 2 state prosecutors, including Jonathan Roth, are on the left. Before the verdict was announced, Roth asked the court to consider a stricter sentence, while Detective Brian Kanan, the lead investigator, watches from the sidelines. As the jury prepares to announce its verdict, something shocking unexpectedly unfolds. Let's take a closer look at the events that transpired. While Harding stands quietly, his body language appears tense upon closer observation. Upon closer inspection, you can see Harding removing something from his sleeve, which later turns out to be a makeshift knife. Just after the jury enters the courtroom, Harding runs and lunges at Prosecutor Roth with the makeshift knife. It seems Harding came to court fully prepared. The moment Harding attacks Mr. Roth, Investigator Kanan quickly grabs the defendant and pushes him back. His quick reflexes prevented Roth from getting serious injuries. Court deputies quickly move in to bring down Harding, who stands at more than 6 feet and weighs 280 pounds. Roth removes his glasses and steps forward to the skirmish when a spectator points at something. He bends down to pick it up. It's a makeshift knife. After nearly 8 seconds of struggle, deputies handcuffed Harding and removed him from the courtroom. Along with second-degree criminal conduct, Harding is also charged with an additional charge of assault with intent to. He is now serving a 44-year sentence and won't be eligible for release until 2064. Authorities are unsure how Harding smuggled the weapon into the courthouse. Since he was already in police custody during the trial, he didn't go through a metal detector. Case number 2. Christopher Teal, 26 years old, is brought to King County Courtroom for a competency hearing and stands before Superior Court Judge Karen Donahue. Teal was accused of first-degree and unlawful imprisonment. According to the police, a 40-year-old woman dropped her vehicle off for service at Carter Volkswagen and went to the bathroom when Teal followed her there, allegedly locked the bathroom door and her. The company employees rushed into the stall upon hearing the victim's screams and quickly intervened to restrain Teal. During the hearing, Teal is standing next to his court-appointed attorney, Reed Birkland. One jail guard removes Teal's handcuffs while he smirks maliciously at Birkland. Suddenly, Teal raises his arm toward Birkland, but the high-alert guard stops him and puts his. Firearm, felonious assault, and illegally possessing weapons. His victim was Elizabeth Pledger Stewart, a 46-year-old woman. According to the outlet, Williams crashed his car into Pledger Stewart's vehicle on June 15, 2017, and then brutally shot her multiple times when she got out. Police arrived at the scene as the shooting was taking place and arrested Williams. During Dale's sentencing hearing, the court permitted the victim's daughter to deliver a powerful impact statement, a moment charged with profound emotion. However, the proceedings took a regrettable turn shortly after. In no time, the victim's sons, Jerome Stewart and Anthony Dees, attack William. Anthony swiftly jumps over the table while Jerome moves around it. Anthony quickly grabs hold of William's legs, forcefully pulling him from his chair and applying a leg lock, all while delivering kicks. Meanwhile, Jerome continues to land punches on William, even as court officials try to intervene. Jerome keeps attacking until he is finally subdued with a taser. Amid the chaos, their aunt's heart-wrenching cries can be heard in the background. William is taken out of the courtroom for a medical evaluation. Shortly after, both brothers are arrested and escorted off the premises following the legal proceedings. Dale Williams is found guilty of murder and sentenced to 23 years to life in prison. Meanwhile, Anthony Dees and Jerome of his younger brother, Jalen Jones. Willie had just arrived at the Joneses' home when Lindy shot him 4 times while he was seated in his car. Afterward, Lindy and Jalen disposed of the body in a nearby wooded area. When Willie didn't return home that night, his mother used a tracking app to trace his phone, which first pinged at the Jones residence and later at the location where his car was found. The following morning, police discovered Willie's body just 700 feet from the Jones home in the woods. Lindy Jones was arrested and charged with murder, while Jalen, who was a minor at the time, faced charges as an accessory after the fact. Initially, Lindy claimed he shot Willie because he was trespassing, then shifted his story to say Willie was reaching for something. Eventually, he accepted full responsibility and pleaded guilty to all charges. Lindy Jones is at Orangeburg County Courthouse for sentencing before Judge Roger Young. Before sentencing, Willie's mother, Lamoureux pled guilty to killing his wife, 19-year-old Misty Lamoureux, following an argument in their apartment. News reports state that Lamoureux fatally shot his wife Misty 5 times in the head. Upon arriving at the scene, police discovered Misty's body in the bathroom while Lamoureux was attempting to flee. In the courtroom, Lamoureux sits under the watchful eyes of 4 sheriff's deputies who stand guard around him. Judge G. Michael Westfall calls Misty's brother, Jason Wilson, to the front to deliver his impact statement. As Wilson walks toward the podium, he glares intensely at the defendant. But Lamoureux appears unfazed, casually rocking in his chair. After delivering part of his emotional testimony, Wilson pauses and directs his full attention to Lamoureux. However, Lamoureux appears completely unaffected, which infuriates Wilson, prompting him to take action. When Wilson begins speaking directly to the man who killed his sister, sheriff's deputies step forward. For the hearing of Jason Howard, who was facing charges against Philip Daly. During Howard's pretrial hearing on November 16, 2006, for aggravated murder, a man identified as Lewis West, Jamila West's brother, suddenly burst into the courtroom. Despite being handcuffed, Jason was vulnerable when Lewis assaulted him. But who is Jamila West and why did her brother beat Howard so badly? She was the ex-girlfriend of Howard. 5 months earlier, police found the dead bodies of Jamila West and her 3 children in their Columbus house. It is important to note that insufficient evidence links Jason Howard to Jamila West's death, though her family strongly believes he is responsible. However, in giving an interview to a TV reporter, the defendant claims his innocence. Shortly after Howard completed his interview, Lewis violently enters the courtroom and starts punching Howard. The TV reporter stood behind Howard. As you watch, she grabs Howard from vest chains and pulls him back from the skirmish. While deputies were attempting to hold Lewis back, suddenly, Jamila West's cousin broke into the courtroom and started beating Howard. A deputy who is chasing West's cousin enters the courtroom and restrains him. The deputies hold the West brother and cousin and start evacuating the people from the courtroom to control the chaos. Later, Jamila West's brother and cousin were arrested and later convicted of misdemeanor assault, while her mother was convicted of inciting violence. Seven. Ricky Hand. In Springfield, Ohio, the owner of John's drive-thru is wrapping up for the night when he notices a man approaching from behind on the security camera. To prevent a robbery, the owner fired a shot at the suspicious person. Immediately after, he called 911 to report the whole scenario. Using the store's security camera footage and a tip from a local hospital that treated a man for multiple gunshot wounds, police identified the suspect as Ricky Hand, a notorious career criminal. Upon investigation, Hand admitted his intent to invade the store. Hand has been indicted on 30 charges related to multiple business break-ins at gunpoint. He admits to being involved in several armed robberies. As you watch, Ricky Hand is now in a Clark County courtroom in Ohio, where the judge has just issued his sentence. After listening to his sentence, Hand starts arguing with the judge, and then he immediately has an outburst. While he was out on bail for previous charges, things took a turn for the worse when he faced new charges for trying to escape custody and recklessly injuring an emergency worker. Due to his prior legal issues and history of misconduct, the magistrate ultimately revoked his bail. Daniel continues to voice his disagreement with the magistrate's decision in his case, and even stands up to emphasize his point at one stage. With each passing minute, Daniel's restlessness reaches a breaking point, and he suddenly decides to flee. He jumps from his seat and leaps over the court dock, but before he can get far, multiple officers quickly intervene to subdue him. A struggle breaks out as Daniel throws punches at the officers, who push him to the ground. Despite their efforts, Daniel keeps trying to get back up and continues his attack. He even attempts to evade capture by jumping over a table, but ends up crashing into it instead. In a final bid for freedom, he stands up again and heads toward the exit, while a woman holding his son pleads for them to let him go because of his supposed illness. However, the officers successfully restrain him, ending his desperate escape attempt. As a result of Daniel's escape attempt, A court officer suffered a broken foot and wore a protective boot for 8 weeks. Daniel blamed his extreme behavior on his use of crystal meth, but he was subsequently arrested and taken into custody. Legally, he was fined $320 for the weapons possession charge and received a 21-month prison sentence, with the possibility of parole after serving 1 year for his disruptive behavior in court. Thanks for joining us on this journey through some of the wildest courtroom moments that will linger in your memory. If you enjoyed these shocking legal dramas, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more unbelievable incidents. Stay tuned for more.